What is going on, everybody? This is episode 5 of the Ambitious Writers podcast. I'm excited. I have my guest, my 5th guest, Brad Doss, Financier. He's an accountant, works here in Pueblo. I'm really happy to have him on here. We're going to dive into a lot of interesting topics that I want to know. And I'm going to get to know him a little bit. So, Brad, tell me your age, what you do. And just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.
I'm 31 now. Born and raised in Pueblo. I own Doss Financial Incorporated. It's an accounting tax firm company. What was the other questions?
Yeah, just tell me how old you are. A little bit about what you do. Like,
yeah.
Did you go to high school? Siblings? Just got a little.
Yeah. So, I was born and raised in Pueblo. I graduated from CSUP back in 2014 with my accounting degree. I tried 2 years to get an accounting job with places all over the country, really applying, and no one accepted me because I didn't have any experience. I just had my degree. So I actually ended up meeting a local accountant here who needed help with like one particular accounting job. So I started working with him on that job, and it slowly progressed from that one job. He needed a couple other things, so in the long run, I ended up taking over 12 of his clients doing bookkeeping, and it kind of just grew from there, basically. That was in early 2016. And but now we do monthly bookkeeping, monthly payroll, monthly sales tax filings for 35 to 40 small businesses every month, and then we do income tax filings for businesses and individuals, obviously at the beginning of the year, throughout the whole year. And we're doing about 200 taxes. We did about 200 the last 2 years, but I think this year hopefully we will be able to get to at least 250, 300 this year for tax filings. So
awesome. Is that like 300 people in 1 year for one tax season?
Yeah.
Or is that throughout the 2 years?
No, that's per year.
Per year, cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Okay.
So some people I work with have multiple businesses, or depending on how their business is structured. So I have one client in particular I can think of off the top of my head, and I think he has 3 separate businesses plus his personal. So like I do 4 returns for him, So I don't have 200 to 300 separate clients, but all together, yeah, we're doing 200 tax returns, and this year we're probably about 300.
So you have some clients who have different other accounts open, and you got to manage those accounts for one client?
Yeah. So, I mean, we do, just depending on how your company and what your company needs are, I guess. But yeah, I have some clients where we do multiple things for multiple of their businesses.
Oh, sweet.
So
sweet. Okay.
But yeah,
are you able to disclose any information about them? Like, as far, I don't want to know the people, but the businesses.
What do you mean?
Like, what businesses are you bookkeeping for?
Oh, like in town?
Yeah, like who certainly, like specific ones who have other accounts open but under one name.
Oh, well, most all the companies I have, like they're different companies. They're just owned by the same person. You know what I mean?
Gyms, or like what are we looking at? Gyms? Are we looking at what kind of businesses?
Oh, I mean, I work with a ton of different businesses. Honestly, I don't have like one specific clientele. I do like literally everything. Security companies. I actually work with a lot of real estate agents. A lot of barbers. That's because I've done speaking events for those 2 specific groups. So that brought a lot of companies in. But I have.
How does that financial situation look like? So that's not a regular 9 to 5. That's like a 1099, or what is that?
Both of them. I mean, barbers.
Yeah,
most barbers are doing booth
business
rent.
owners. Mm-hmm. So they have a different tax situation than normal, like me.
Yeah,
like
for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you get your W-2, your company, your employer pays half of your Social Security and Medicare, and you pay half. But when you're self-employed, you pay both halves. So it's a lot more expensive income to make when you're self-employed because you don't have half of that money. But yeah, I mean, sorry, my bad. Most barbers are booth rented or something like that. They're all their own businesses. So it's really cool working with people like that because they do treat it just like it's a normal job sometimes, and they don't know how much money they're missing out on like claiming the right deductions. But also, I work with so many people who just like keep cash under the table. I think that's the best thing in the world. And it's like until they try to go get a house and their tax returns say they make 10 grand a year, and it's like, bro, you aren't even getting a car, let alone a house. You know what I mean? So
Are we talking like under the table kind of cash, or like
yeah,
cash you're not telling like Mr. Sam, Uncle Sam about?
yeah. Like a lot of barbers that, not a lot, but some barbers I've worked with, they're making a ton of money in cash and they just don't claim it. And yeah, it sounds great when you're not paying your taxes on it, but cash only goes so far, especially in this day and age. Like, for one, not many people even carry cash on them, but if you have all that cash and your tax returns are showing 10 grand of income, like, you're not going to be able to buy anything, and you're also probably going to get audited pretty quick.
Okay, all right. Put a pin in it real quick. I want to make sure this is recording. Just be safe. And it's, dude, I gotta double check. After that third one with Weston.
Oh, did it not record?
No, yeah, I forgot to press record on there.
Oh, whoops. Yeah.
Whoops.
See, if you had like a front-facing screen or something, or put a mirror behind there,
Okay.
that'd be dope. When we shoot ours, David has like a flip-up screen, so we can like see ourselves.
Nice.
It tells you you're recording.
Okay.
But yeah.
Sweet.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, back to auditing. So, all right, we're gonna break it down because there's a lot of definitions I don't know and probably people aren't familiar with. So you mentioned bookkeeping.
For sure.
I know a lot of other I'm good. I'm not an accountant in any way, shape, or form, but I mean, I like seeing numbers and I like getting down the financial statements and looking at them, talking about them, and kind of just seeing where the numbers are. Like I guess I'm not good with my finances, but I like to look at finances.
Yeah, for sure.
So what is auditing for one?
So an audit is basically the IRS saying that you filed incorrectly, and they're going to go back and check your tax return.
Why would people purposely file incorrectly? Does that like what you mentioned earlier?
Every income you make needs to be supposed to be filed on your tax return. So if you're a barber cutting hair and you get cash and you don't put it on your return, you know what I mean? That's illegal. Like, it's crazy. I mean, even if you have a garage sale, you're supposed to report like the income from a garage sale. You know what I mean? So they're obviously not really auditing for garage sales, but like someone who's making, good money and cash on the side, that might get audited. But the IRS gets a ton of different tax documents from you. And so if your tax returns don't line up with the tax returns that they received, or if your return has like outstanding numbers that just don't seem right, like that's kind of how you get triggered for an audit.
Okay.
And then they're like, you're basically innocent. You're basically guilty until proven innocent when it comes to an audit. So they're not fun.
So for everyday individuals, or I mean, I guess you can find loopholes around it for a business owner. Do you see people trying to find loopholes around those when it comes to those? I know the people in Pueblo aren't very high status like Donald Trump. He got convicted of the tax.
I did see that. I should have read about it, I suppose, as an accountant, but I haven't read much into
that.
it.
I was like, because just as successful as he is, I'm like, all right, let me look into this and kind of see his strategy behind it, because he does have cash flow. Dude, that guy doesn't have to work, but he chooses to. I'm not trying to agree with Trump in any way, shape, or form, but I mean, the guy's making money. He obviously, he did get a loan, but the guy is making money. He's making money. I mean, you can't look at someone and be like, all right, well, fuck.
Well,
I don't know, but people have their. I'm not biased. They're trying to tell my opinion. I'm just what I saw and what I'm seeing is, all right, he avoided taxes for this reason. He probably. If you're making that much money too, it's you got money to buy a lawyer, to afford a lawyer. He probably has a lot of good lawyers. Who knows if he's gonna make it through this one? We'll just kind of see where it goes.
Well, I didn't read about it. I'm not sure, but I thought they already convicted him or something, or he was already found guilty of tax fraud or something.
He was. I think that's what it
So I
was.
don't
They did
know.
find him guilty.
Yeah. So I don't know. Honestly, I mean, it probably just means like penalties and fines.
Yeah,
But I mean,
stuff
like,
he's capable of paying.
but I see this a lot. People like look at like these multi millionaires and billionaires and like want to utilize their same tax strategy.
Hmm.
And it's like there's different tax strategies when you make 100 grand a year versus 100 million a year. You know what I mean?
I
So,
do.
it definitely varies. Like there's a ton of tax strategies that I can drive people's income down as far as we want a lot of times, but it's just not like the most beneficial thing. When your tax return is like hundreds of millions of dollars of income, then yeah, your goal is to just drive it down because you're paying 50% in taxes, but they don't. People with that much money don't need to worry about like, oh, can I get finance for a house? Because they have so much money already. So tax strategies definitely alter based on your income range too and your current situation for sure.
Yeah, for
So
sure. So, what all goes into bookkeeping? I know you got to look at, you just got to break down their finances, but you got to, I know a lot of it is you look at financial statements and there's a balance sheet, there's an income statement, and there's a cash flow statement. I like looking at the balance sheet and the income statement, obviously, because for the balance sheet, it's right assets plus liabilities equals what is it?
equity.
Equity. Yeah. So little stuff like that, little stuff that's gonna help you kind of with your own
Yeah.
situation. So break down just different terms and let me know what's going on in the whole accounting
Yeah.
world.
So bookkeeping is what we do every month, and that's basically creating those financial statements. We pull your bank statements, your credit card statements, your sales reports, and we enter. It's basically a data entry of all of your expenses and income, and then we generate your income statement and your balance sheet at the end of every month. And like you were saying, those are pretty crucial documents when running a business. Your income statement is obviously important to see if your sales are going up, your sales are going down, to see where you're spending your money, where maybe you need to spend more money, where you need to spend less money, and then how much you're going home with. And then on the balance sheet side, yeah, it's assets and liabilities. So it's like cash in the bank, fixed assets, like if you're a construction company, like all of your equipment and stuff is an asset. It's on there, and then offsetting that is your liabilities, which most of the time it's just debts, like notes on construction equipment in that example or whatever it is. So there's like some very crucial information to run a business on those reports. And so when we bookkeep, we generate those reports every month. Now, the sales tax issue that we file, I talked about that. Like sales tax is it's just another tax you have to pay when you sell stuff. Every time you buy something, there's sales tax. You know what I mean? So we just calculate that for people and file it. But yeah, the bulk of it is the bookkeeping and then also the tax planning. So it's hard. It's hard to do tax planning. There's two different types of tax planning. There's proactive and retroactive. Once December 31st hits and the year's over, there's not much you can do to change your tax bill for the previous year. But if you know what your numbers are and you're in that same year, there's a lot more strategies you can do. Being proactive tax planning, you can buy more equipment, or you can, I don't know. There's just a ton of things to list out, but there's tax planning in the same year that you're in is way more beneficial than tax planning after the year's already over. So that's why going to your accountant once a year to file your taxes, if you're a business owner, is usually not very beneficial in that sense. It can be more productive, save more money.
I gotcha. So why did you choose accounting instead of like any other career choice? Because I mean, I'm not asking as far as like college choice, and I'm asking as far as like career choice. Because with that knowledge you gain in college, I mean, you're going through school for that long for this degree. Obviously, you got your own business. You learned a lot. You have potential. You have a goal. You have a vision. But Why accounting? Is there money in accounting? That's like what I'm asking. Like, do you have different other investments in other portfolios, or is like your business with this the only kind of cash flow you have?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I chose accounting because I took an accounting class in high school and I really liked it. I've always liked math and I always like how accounting balances out. So like to find a career that you enjoy doing and makes a lot of money is like what everyone strives for, right? So I found a career that I really enjoyed doing, which was accounting. And then on the side of, oh, do you have like in other portfolio or whatever? Like, I mean, I have retirement investment, which is just like boring basic stuff. I don't make any money on it. It's for retirement. But yeah, no, I mean, I worked at Best Buy for the first 2 years I started my company. But for the last 4 years, that's all I do. It's accounting. Um, this year, I mean, we've grown every single year. There's definitely money in it. I mean,
So you're making enough money to pay your bills each month with your business
oh yeah. I mean,
easily.
yeah, I think this year we'll be at about if we're talking total revenue, about 120
What's the difference between revenue, gross,
minus
and
so your total income is what all the money you bring in, and then you have your expenses, then you have your net income
your net income is like what you're taking home minus all
after.
that. What
Yeah,
about including like bills and like expenses for like food and like personal expenses and stuff like that? Is
yeah.
that kind of minus all that as well?
So I pay myself like a W-2. Like I pay myself on a pay period every 2 weeks, like I'm a normal employee. So so I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, like I pay myself through my W-2 to pay all the household stuff, and then everything above that just stays in the business right now. So right now it's just me. My wife works part time, and then I have a remote bookkeeper as well that's working. My office, to run my company without paying myself, it costs me about $2,500 a month, and then I pay myself. And so so yeah.
That's sweet. Awesome.
But
So how
yeah,
much are you taking home like monthly?
I pay myself about 60 grand a year.
Okay. And that's like stuff to buy, like that watch, that shirt, your shoes,
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
coffee.
yeah. All my household bills are paid
Okay.
with 5 grand a month.
Sweet. So you
So
can go buy a gun, new gun if you
and
wanted to.
well, I could, but I'm just like a psychopath, and I like just invest as much money as possible into my retirement account, pretty
And
much. So
why are you retired? Why not any other like portfolio? Like what about stocks or like real estate or something? Like, are you a big fan of
well,
those, or how do you feel about
well,
those?
well, my retirement investing is invested in stocks, not individual stocks. Individual stocks are just a lot more volatile.
Well, if you know like how to, if you know how to invest and how to like pick different companies, why don't you do it yourself instead of like relying on a retirement account?
Well, the you can look at the statistics about it, but to have a financial advisor or someone like try to outperform just what's called an index fund, they lose 95% of the time. So like when it comes to investing, people think you have to like know like what companies are gonna blow up and what's this and what's that. It's like if you have like insider trading information, it's great, but for the most of the time, people don't know that information. It's not really like timing the market. It's not like buying low and selling high. It's just time in the market. It's just slowly buying every single month, no matter what the price is.
Consistency?
Consistency
Is
for
that with the
sure.
same company or different companies?
It's different. I mean, so like in my retirement account, most of the money, like 90% of the money in my retirement account is invested into what's called a target retirement mutual fund. So it's basically just a giant fund that Charles Schwab has together that kind of they manage it to reduce volatility and but with the anticipation of you retiring in 2055 or whatever year it is. So and then I put some money in like individual stocks just to kind of see what it's doing. But like for example, this year's been a terrible year for the stock market, and my target retirement fund is like probably down like 16%, but my Tesla stock is down like 35%. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of just balance it out right now, the
Okay.
highs and the lows. It's really hard to beat the market, is what I'm saying. Like,
So what about for the people who aren't like what you were saying consistent with it? Like, does that have to the type of work for that? What does that look like? Are you like gonna have to dedicate some time out of your day each day to look and kind of see what the company's doing, what the different stocks are doing, what the market's doing?
you don't have to do anything. Just set it on auto withdrawal from your account and just let it go buy the mutual fund. So the stock market average since it's been around is like 9% a year, something like that. So
Yeah.
if we're using that 9% per year average, and like if you're 30 years old, you put $270 in every month from the age of 30 to 65, that's about $1 million in retirement.
Okay, so what if I'm like putting in way more? Like obviously the numbers are gonna
Yeah.
change, but
Yeah, just multiply
since
it.
I'm young, I mean,
And so like time is more important than anything when it comes to investing. Like, how old are you?
20.
So if you invest $1 right now, when you retire, it'll be about $88. So if by the time
I'm talking like high, cause I want to live. Well, not live. I just want to like. A part of me wants to be rich and like famous and have that lifestyle, and a part of me wants to do this because I want to see if I can. So a part of that has to do with like just seeing what works for me, and as well as seeing what kind of like risk I want to take because I'm so young. So right now I'm kind of playing with. I've been being really risky lately. I bought a gun today, bought my first ever gun
just for fun or
for
what?
fun. Yeah, for fun, bro. That's I feel that's one of the most important things in life too. Is you got to do stuff, even though you have the money and you have money and you're stressing. Because everybody stresses. You got to do stuff that makes you happy, enjoy life a little more, and that's fun. So like doing this is really fun for me. It takes a lot of time away from other things, but I enjoy it. And like, I mean, I enjoy like shooting. That was pretty fun. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get a gun and kind of go from there. There's just like different things. Like I've been picking up guitar a little bit, and yeah, just kind of doing little things. I want to spend more time with family, but that's hard with all this going on. It's hard to balance your lifestyle. But as far as risk, yeah, I would want to invest more than. I mean, I don't want to go low. Why? I'm young, dude. Like if I strategically did this, I can realistically. I mean, the numbers are gonna play out, but if I played my cards right, did my research, did my homework, put work into it, really. In 40 years, I can definitely have a good retirement for sure. Like right now.
Oh, and it wouldn't cost you much is the thing because you're so young.
All right. So what if I put like 2 grand?
Every month.
A grand, 15, 1,200
At age 20,
consistently.
say you
I mean,
did.
all right. Throughout, right now, let's say 6 months. Eight
I could pull out
600
the
to
calculator
let's
right
do
now.
it right now. $600 to $1,000, and then we'll just see where the money goes from there. Into strategic, like good. I'm one for picking stocks, like actually putting work into learning about which one you want to do. instead of,
Honestly,
like,
it's a waste of time
you think so?
because you're not really going to outperform it that much, generally speaking. I mean, you can do that, but I wouldn't do 100% into it. Like 10 to 15% at most, and just gamble with stocks. I mean, that's pretty much what I do. So, like, let's say you're 20 years old and you
650.
you
We'll
were-
start there.
you put $650 in every month. You make 9%. So when you retire at 65, you have $5 million.
Cool. That's
And
a
that-
good deal. At 65.
And $5 million, you could pull about $200,000 out every single year, and you'll never touch your $5 million
Really?
because that's your invested money will make money. Your
So how's the first year looking? If I wanted to pull like some money out and put it back, because I'm all for putting money back into the investment. That's how it's gonna grow, bro. Like how else the fuck?
That's
what do
how
you
anything
think?
grows.
Exactly. What are you thinking? You're gonna fucking make what, $200,000 and just be like, oh shit, that's gonna, yeah, I'll just leave it in there. No, pull that shit out real quick, go put it back into the market. Of course, like I said, have some fun, go buy a fucking gun, go do what you want to do. I'm not saying buy a gun, but do something you want to do with it that's not illegal, and you'll enjoy your time with it. But put it back into the investment, you know what I'm saying? And then just let it grow from there. But put a certain percentage out, like cut a certain percentage for you and your investments, so that
For
way
sure.
you're taken care of and your investment's gonna grow. But being so young, I feel like I don't have no liabilities besides like living at home, you know what I'm saying? And all the stuff I got going on now. So my risk is pretty high. I'll invest a
Yeah.
high number for what I want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, pay yourself first. Like that's pretty much the motto that I have. Like that's why I invest is because I'm paying that's how I pay myself first, before I have to like pay the mortgage and card notes or whatever. Like put money in investment and let that grow and work for me. Like it's something that's on my side. But at the same time, I mean, as you get older and you start other things too, it's like the retirement is the retirement is good for the future, but it's good to invest money into my business, whatever you get into. If this podcast keeps growing, you're going to invest more money into it, but it's going to make you more money. But like at the same time, like you're saying too, like you can't be a cheap ass about everything and not spend any money. You still have to enjoy your time. Like me and my family, we don't really like a ton of like crazy materialistic things, but we just really like to travel and see a lot of places. So like every year we go on usually two really nice trips every year. Like that's what we choose to spend our money on, and we could invest that money and let it grow or whatever, but at the same time, like you still have to live, like you're saying, it's a good balance. It is. That's how you balance it, really.
Crazy how it goes, bro. Because you can. This is gonna be a little weird twist, but like, I like listening to. I've been listening to a lot of hip hop lately because like, it's been really uplifting and like pumping. It's like bumping fucking Ice Cube, and just like enjoying like the words he's spitting. You're like, okay, yeah, I want to live that lifestyle too. So it's like the more money you have, the more problems you have. But I know also other individuals who make around like what you're making, 100,000, or like I had one individual who told me he was actually, I'll just go in, I won't say any names or anything, but he was my high school FBLA teacher, and he was honestly a little more odd than other teachers and a lot more bizarre. I knew something was up with this guy, but I didn't know like specifically what. So I went through his accounting class in high school my senior year, and I really enjoyed it. Everybody who's listening, he's going to listen to this, and they're going to know for sure exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah, that individual right there. I got to know him a lot more, and in that class, I enjoyed it. He made it fun for one, two. We dived into the reality of investing, and for one, how successful you can be, how important it is to have a dream and have a vision and stick with it, and don't let anybody tell you shit or otherwise. And how important it is to put the work in and just kind of have that interest. A lot of things, man. A lot of things went into it, but long story short, sparked my interest in this, and we had a conversation, and he told me, I was like, I just got to it. He was with his wife, and I was like, with that kind of topic and that kind of situation, I want to get straight to the point, straight to the numbers. If I know you well enough like this, and if like we're able to sit down and like actually like talk or like get to know each other, I want to know like specifics. I'm trying to dive in. So I asked him, I was like, so hey man, he was real big on the stock market. I was like, so how much is the most he made in the stock market? And he told me he was like 10 million. I was like, okay, for sure. And he's real young still. He hasn't even hit fucking, I think 30. I don't even know, bro. But I was like, damn, dude, that's what's up. That's what's up. His wife was back there. She was like, you can't be asking those questions to people. I was like, well, how else are you gonna fucking know?
Yeah.
How else are you gonna like? People don't. I understand people don't want to like open up about it, but there's people like me who want to fucking know this shit. I understand it's not like a normal question to ask, but I'm not trying to live a 9 to 5. Like the job I have right now, First time I met the doctor who works there, and they own the business, or they own like the company. There's like 5 different doctors' offices in Springs. Like shit, and there's still a doctor at the office and running that business, but they're there one day a week. And first time I saw the doctor, I was like, I mean, it wasn't like wasn't professional for work for sure. I don't think, but I was like, damn, like you really like you're a doctor and you're running this business seriously? Like why? Like why? And I was like, all right, let's cut this shit. How much are you? Like I tried to say how much are you making in a respectful way. I was like, so it was stupid. I was like, so what's paying for your vacations? I don't think she got the memo. She was like, huh? She knew, but she was like, come on, like really, like at this time, like it was, I don't know. But I was like, yeah, yeah, I want to know this stuff. I know it's not probably a professional question, but or anything, but I'm young for one, and I see what you're doing, and it's just mind blowing for one. It's inspiring, and I want to know. You know, I want to know more, bro.
I think money has like always been like a taboo topic, but that kind of I believe it became of a taboo topic um in like in the early 20s or something like that, because they told that like these big companies told everyone like don't talk about your money with other people, and they like wanted to push that narrative because if they're paying you this much and this person this much, and there's a difference in there, they don't want them to know, because then they're gonna have to pay both people the same amount of money, you know. So I think that's kind of how it began to be such like a taboo topic, is because the larger corporations wanted it to be, because it benefits them for people to not talk about how much money they're making and what their benefits are and stuff like that, because then it puts the employers at a disadvantage, because now they have bargaining chips against them, saying like, oh, you know, Debbie's doing the same job as me and she's making $10 more an hour. So you go to your boss, and what's your boss gonna say? Like, sorry, you know what I mean? So
Suck it up.
yeah, and so it's like they don't want you. They just don't want you to know. So I mean, for me, I work with numbers all day long. I look at people's money all day long. Like for me, I don't mind talking about numbers because that's just what I do, you know. But it's super like
Yeah,
super taboo for
it's
people to
cool you.
discuss what's going on. Yeah.
I like that you spoke on that because I'm gonna dive in. I'm not gonna dive, but I'm gonna touch on something. People just think it's odd, you know, like why? There's like I have a dream and I want to achieve that dream. Like I have vision, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but to achieve this vision, I need to understand and get to know, like the science sort of like behind how it works, how like a successful how how to run it successfully, you know. But in order to do that, I got to talk to these people who have done that, who are doing this, who know how to do that, who have some experience on it, you know. And people don't want to talk about that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I understand. There's certain people you can't talk to about it, and you can't just go around like speaking about it. But I I don't want to live the 9 to 5, that basic 9 to 5. This is going off on a little rant, but that's not the way to live. I'm not trying to work this job, you know, for years, you
Yeah.
know, because what? Why, for the benefits? No, I'm trying to work it for a little bit, you know, do what I need to do for this to get where I want to go and do my own thing. But in the meantime, I still want to work on a side hustle as well, you know, kind of have that outgrow
Yeah.
this. But I need to know certain individuals, and it's hard because in those job environments, you don't get to have a conversation with them about their personal life or their dreams or aspirations for more than 5 minutes, because you're always working and talking about stuff that's work related. So it's just a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling to in a sense, because there's people, you know, that I just want to have a more in-depth conversation, you know, as like the doctor. Like I just want to speak to her about the details and the specifics about everything she decided to pursue, and why. But I can't do that in a 9 to 5 job, clinical setting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it has to be outside of work somehow. But I think there's something to be said for learning from what other people are doing. But it's also important to realize, like, from what, especially what I've learned. Well, I don't know. It's kind of ironic. I learned this from talking to a lot of people myself through our podcast. Is like there's so many different ways to success too. That's the cool thing. I think ultimately, from what I've learned, is like I've learned that there's not a one way to be successful, but there's multiple ways to be successful, and you just kind of have to keep trying and figure it out. Because your path to success is going to be so much different than someone else's path to success. Your definition of success is going to be obviously different than everyone else's too. So, yeah, I mean, like talking to people, doing it, like just being about it is all it takes. You know what I mean? And eventually whatever will carve out for you. Like, I mean, I'm still doing it now. Like, I know people with accounting firms that are doing, 7 figures, 8 figures a year. It's like, that's where I want to be. Like, 6 figures a year sounds so tiny right now, but 4 years ago it sounded like a shitload of money too. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Success,
dude.
success shouldn't be measured on like monetarily values either, though. But I'm just very goal orientated, so I set goals and they're always end in numbers somehow.
I like that. I like that. So, if you guys don't know, Brad Doss right here and David Armenta started a podcast called Lasting Legacy Podcast. Personally, I'm a fan of it because you guys interviewed entrepreneurs and just out of the ordinary people. So, if you haven't checked that out, definitely go look at that and see what they got on there. So they're kind of a two-topic thing. You mentioned, that's funny you say that because one of the individuals you guys interviewed, Andres, I like him. I've had my, I've known him. I don't really talk to him that much anymore, but he's doing great things with his business. And I remember he was telling me kind of the same thing, man. It's like he was making, when he sold his business in Pueblo, it was going for like 200K, and I was like, that's impressive. Those are good numbers for the time he started to where he was selling it. And I didn't really talk to him about numbers that much. I just worked for him and worked with him and just kind of got to know him a little bit that way. But I knew he was making money. Like we would go to the like Best Buy and he bought a speaker for his setup, his space, and it was like a pretty pricey speaker, but for one he had a credit card, but he just paid it cash for it right there. But I mean, to have enough money to do that and kind of not really, I mean, you're stressing, but not really like stressing hard. I don't know, it's a different kind of stress, but
Like your basic necessities are covered.
yeah,
You
but
don't
you're
have to worry
still,
about that, but yeah.
yeah, you have like money, like I don't know, it's just like a different lifestyle. And I for one look up to that, and that's inspiring because that's cool because I see the growth, it's like now he's probably making, I don't know, probably same around you, but minus all the expenses and everything, but still like the value, like what it's valued at is probably 6 figures, like easily 6 figures, man. And it's like, to me, that's not a lot of money. To you guys, I mean, for me, it's a lot of money, but to you guys, it's probably not a lot of money. It's like, that's where I want to be. That's how I want to be.
Yeah, and that's like that's one of the things I struggle with is like you really have to learn to appreciate like where you're at, because if you just keep focusing on the wrong things, you're just going to keep chasing your tail. Like it's never going to be like true happiness and success, because once you get to a point where like your basic necessities are covered and you don't have to worry about it, and you just have like a little bit of extra money, like no matter if you have an extra $1,000 or an extra $10,000, like it really isn't much difference. And one thing I noticed is like once I hit to the point where it's like, okay, I know my all my bills are paid every month, like I don't have to worry about that. Honestly, it made me lazy. Like I feel like maybe not lazy, but like I've definitely slowed down. You know what I mean? A little less motivated. And so like there's something to be said for like being not there yet and still having that drive and motivation. Because once you get there, it does get a little harder to like keep that momentum going. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why like finding the true purpose is so important outside of like a monetary number. Because you're gonna hit your monetary numbers eventually, you know, and then what are you chasing? Like, so
it's like more money, more problems.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, man.
Biggie, yeah. I mean,
I've just been diving into like mental health so much more, like psychology and stuff.
Well, I understand that because I've been talking about that too with my friends. Well, my friend, but I've definitely mentioned it with other people. Just because you're making this much money does not mean you're not struggling as much. I see super successful people, and one guy here, Matt Smith, for example, he might have all these other businesses he's running, but at the end of the day, I mean, you got to worry about paying the expenses and, you know, the bills and everything else that goes behind it for these companies, as well as being there for your family and having these other stuff going on. It's like you got to find that balance, you know? Like it's not like they're living like I mean, they are living good, but they still have issues and problems they're going with, you know. But I mean, they're living good. They're not complaining. They're gonna put a smile on their face every day, which is okay. But you can't fake it every day, all the time, 100%. There's gonna be moments and days where it's like, all right, you're gonna have to take a second to yourself and just recoup and break down. You know, maybe. You know, I've been kind of not dabbling, but hey, man, life's been getting emotional. It's been hard. It's hard to keep calm when you're stressing. That's a good motto. I won't lie. Life is stressful. I'm having my fair share of being an adult. But hey, I bought a gun. Fuck, I'm gonna go have fun with that.
It's something fun to do. It's like a stress reliever.
Oh,
you know what
God,
I mean?
bro.
So
that's exactly what
like,
it is.
I think that's important too. Find something that you really enjoy. Find a career you really enjoy, but still find something outside of that you really enjoy to like let off, and having a good community around you. You know, as people get older, they lose friends, they lose family, and then eventually it's just a very small circle, which a small circle is fine, but you need community in your life. Like humans thrive on connection and other human connection, and we're tribal animals at the end of the day, you know. So it's like
Primals.
Yeah, when you're Liver King. Shout out to the steroids.
Liver King. Everybody knew he was doing.
I know, like it's so obvious.
I didn't really think about it, but like, yeah, I mean, reality of it is he is doing steroids. You can't look that good and not do steroids. But it's not even like he can be honest, bro. I know you're not taking like pills. I'm not gonna judge you. Like I'm not gonna stand. You're gonna kick my ass either fucking way, bro.
Yeah.
Like, but just come on, man. I know. Are you injecting it? Are you fucking taking like people at gyms too? I'm like, come on, just like. Let me know what's going on, you know, because I want to know. You can't tell me you're taking a fucking pill that's like this dosage and you're looking like this, bro. Like,
it's just a little bit of creatine.
Right? Right? And it's like, dog, it's a fucking liver in the, you know, it's all this goddamn ancestral shit. It's like, I have my own supplement company. I'm eating all this raw food. Can't tell me I'm looking like this because of steroids. What are you talking about?
I know Joe Rogan's always been calling him out forever, so he was probably pretty pumped when it came out.
Yeah. Has he was silent for a little bit too, wasn't he, Joe Rogan?
I don't know about
being on steroids.
Oh, I don't know, honestly. I know he says now he's on testosterone.
Yeah,
or something.
enhancers.
Whatever
you want to call it. It's fucking. Yeah, I mean GH. Whatever it is, I understand there's scientific terms for it that goes behind it, but the universal term is steroids, and we all know it from steroids. Just say, hey man, like they won't probably say steroid, but like growth enhancers, muscle enhancers. Come on.
When I get older, I'll take testosterone. Hell yeah,
and there's like B12 too for like energy too.
Yeah,
I understand. It happens. So as far as like lasting legacy, like what are your guys' plans for that?
Right now the podcast. We are David, the dude who runs it with me. He bought a pole barn that he's using for his own studio to shoot photography and stuff in. So in a corner of that pole barn, we're going to build a new podcast studio. The
David's an
plan.
animal.
I know he really is, bro.
He's going hard. Like you were saying earlier before this. I understand. I get it. You guys are good friends too. I like that, but I like his attitude too towards things. He's extra, but it's like his style too. It's like, I mean, he takes your photos, and he takes a lot of these other guys' photos. And
Yeah, he's killer at what he does.
good, bro.
That's
It's
for
good.
sure. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and that's why he stays so busy.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
so
Continue.
but yeah, we're trying to get that new studio set up.
He has a
And
pole barn.
then yeah, we want to put the new studio in there, and our plan moving forward is to shoot, like, try to group maybe 2 or 3 podcasts in the same day and try to batch out like 12 to 15 episodes and do it like by season. So it'll be season 2, 15 episodes, and then we'll take a break maybe, or season 3. Because it's one thing that was annoying about it was trying to book a guest every single week. We were like running out of people, and then someone cancels, they're so far behind. And then but now the problem is we're going into tax time, so I'm going to be super busy until the end of April. So I don't know, hopefully we can try to get some of these podcasts back and shot and going again, but honestly I anticipate it's going to be a little difficult to do in the next couple of months, so we'll see where it's at. But we had a lot of fun shooting it, so I do want to continue doing it. Just we need to figure out the best way to do it so we can stay consistent with it and
Yeah.
not burn out on it.
Yeah, that's good. So as far as tax season, let's talk a little bit about that. All right. When does tax season come around?
So the day that you can start filing taxes usually is like mid to late January.
Okay.
And that's through tax deadline is middle of April, but for us, we run payroll for a ton of people as well. So we're last week of December and then the first week of January, we're already busy because we're running all the year-end payroll reports and W-2s for all of our clients. So our crazy time starts like January usually. So we'll be doing all of
How's
that.
payroll looking like? So what do you guys do for payroll?
We
Is
run the payroll so
it's
that
just-
people send us their hours and stuff like
And
that.
then you pay them based off their hours?
For
Through
all
their-
these other
Through the
businesses.
company's money?
No. So what we do is, say we're working with like Company A. Company A sends me hours for their employees. I run the payroll through my payroll program, and then they cut the checks to their employees. But then at the end of the year, we have to set up payroll tax payments. We have to file reports with Social Security Administration, with the state of Colorado, with the state unemployment, with federal, with the IRS. So, and then we also have to send all the W-2s out to all the employees. So it's just it's not like super difficult, but it's just very time consuming because there's so many reports per individual to run. So we stay super busy with that, and then we basically just get into doing taxes. Even though the tax filing system is not going to be open, I still have the software, so I can start putting taxes in and just waiting for it to open. And yeah, we stay pretty slammed until April deadline. I generally have, I don't know, a handful, maybe 30 to 40 people that go on extension, and so we kind of work through those extension clients throughout like May, June, July, and stuff like that. But tax season technically kind of can go all the way to October 15th. That's when your extension date is. So we're kind of doing taxes off and on from April to October still, but hopefully bringing in a fourth person to help out at the office in January. And so the goal is to minimize how many people go on extension, and then that way we have more time to gain more clients, basically. So
Okay. So throughout the year, what kind of work are you guys doing? Do you do all the work?
No.
How many employees do you have?
So it's me, my wife, and then I have a remote bookkeeper right now. So there's 3 of us working.
And you're full time going at it
Yeah. So what I do all the tax returns
on all these people?
I do all the tax returns, all the sales taxes,
That's a lot for
and all
one
the payrolls.
individual.
It is. It is. That's why I need to bring someone else in, because between doing all the work and then actually like working in the business of doing all the work, working on the business, doing like getting back to phone calls and emails and doing like some speaking events that we have and stuff like that. So it is pretty chaotic. That's why I'm bringing in some more help, make that jump, because I'm kind of hesitant, but kind of just have to do it now. But as far as bookkeeping goes, I don't really do any bookkeeping. I only do bookkeeping for two of our clients. My wife and my remote employee handle all the bookkeeping right now. And then this third person we bring in, they're going to be able to help me with actually income tax filings, bookkeeping. I'm going to kind of jack of all trades with this fourth position, so they can kind of step in and fill in wherever we need the help throughout the year.
Gotcha.
Because my main goal with the business is I want to file tax returns, I want to do tax planning with my clients, and I want to just market and get more clients. Those are like the three main tasks I want to do. So everything else I'm trying to delegate it off my plate so I can bring more money into the company and bring a better quality of service to the clients that we do get. And
how's your presence on social media?
It's off and on. It's nothing great.
Do you think if you were to be more consistent with that, your revenue would increase?
I do. I think as far as like social media growth, I think that I have a pretty good strategy on how to get views and stuff through like reels and stuff like that. I've played with it enough and seen enough
I like
success.
Your reels, bro. Seriously.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So I feel like I've had enough success. I kind of know how to do it. It's just about doing it consistently. I don't know how quick that would bring clients in immediately. Honestly, I think doing more like speaking events and engagements and stuff like that around the state of Colorado is really going to be the quickest way to bring new clients in.
Are you interested in doing anything like that in the future?
Yeah.
Like holding like an event?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would want to like put it on, but like
would
be
you
a
be
speaker
like,
of it
okay,
or something for sure. Yeah, I've done.
What about as far as like marketing for it? Would you be interested in or know anybody who would be in? I mean, just putting it all together because I want to do something like that too. And someone mentioned it, and I mentioned it actually not a few days ago. And I hit up another friend, and if they're watching this, they know exactly again who they are. But it's just something I was like, all right, let's do it. I'm tired of just waiting and having something else like that come on when it's like, all right, if you're gonna say something about it, all right, I'm 100% interested in helping what it is, put it on. Well, like the last one, it was an entrepreneurial event, and we just had speakers from across, honestly, a few from Pueblo and a few I think from out of state. But it was cool. A lot of people came from out of state, and that's what made it good. And it was just a place to network, and it was great. And it was like, all right, I volunteered my time for that. I didn't get paid, but I was like, hey, you need help for it? Let me help you. So that person mentioned it again, and I was like, I've been reaching out to him, and I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I'm hoping something we can work something out like in the future. I want to put something on in the future. That's what I'm going for. Is like that's what I'm trying to get at right now. I'm like beating around the bush. I'm like, fuck.
I think it'd be really cool to have some kind of some kind of like seminar, speaking event, something where just good networking, good information.
Exactly.
Cool
it was that
people.
Wake Up. Actually, it was that undercover billionaire boot camp.
That's right.
With Matt, and I was like. They wanted like they asked if anybody would participate or help out, and I was like, I mean, dude, you're not gonna ask me twice. The fuck, a room full of people who are balling, making entrepreneurs. I'm gonna put it that way for people who don't have the same aspirations as me, but yeah, to put it in an ambitious way, people who are balling, making money, and it's like that think differently and that just know the formula to create a successful business plan or a successful investing strategy. And that, my friend, is what I want to try to put on again in the future before, I don't know, summer of next year. Probably, I don't know, if we can do that in the same event, that'd be sick. But I mean, there's other venues too, of course, and I'm sure, like you said, you would want to participate. So
yeah, I think it'll be cool. I think keeping it I don't know. I guess it just depends on guests and stuff like that and pricing. But yeah, I think it would be cool. I had talked to, I don't know. Maybe me and David were talking about doing something like that too, or some point. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool. I've done like a handful of these speaking events now. They've all been really fun to do
I
and
want to do
really
some.
cool for sure. I mean, and from a business standpoint, I mean, they've been very profitable as well. So
Really? Do you make any money from these speaking
I don't get
events?
paid to do it, but I've
But
gotten a
is it
lot of
like a
clients.
referrals? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I've gotten
Cool.
a
It'll help
ton
me
of
with the
clients.
podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's good content if you were to
Yeah,
put something on like that
that's
too. It
true.
would be cool because anyone who's trying to make content,
Yeah.
especially like, you know, if I'm like a speaker or something, like that's a ton of great content for the speakers, a ton of great content for the people that are going, people put it on. So yeah, I don't know how to do it. It's definitely it would be a task, but it would be cool. It would
It
be
would
cool
be
for
cool.
sure.
My strategy lately for content is I've been doing the podcast and putting out those clips, so
Yeah.
check those out. Anyways, I've been thinking I'm like I want to just like start filming like everything every day. I went to the range today and was like, why not? Fuck it. Just kind of diversifying in different content and seeing what different people like. But it's all revolved around like my interests. So that's what I like about it. I'm able to just like film like me and the boys, and we're just doing what we like to do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But there's certain things that come into it too because I want to go to like places and kind of like film content that way too. But
Yeah, I
legal
think
reasons.
I think like the algorithm on these social medias is so good. Like eventually they'll find your target audience. You just have to post enough shit for them to figure out what your target audience is. You know what I mean? I think that's ultimately the goal. It's you look at people that have grown, like they just stick to what they do repetitively and eventually the internet's so big there's going to be 100,000 people that are interested in what you're doing. It's just how long will it take the 100,000 people to find you pretty much. So it's like you see it, you Google something you Google something that you want to buy, and then you get an advertisement 6 minutes later. Like they know what they're doing. It's just it's consistency. It seems like social media wise, like and reels. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't done social media in like a couple months. I kind of took a hiatus intentionally, but man, on the reels, I was just killing it on reels and on TikTok. Like I posted a reel or a TikTok every single day for 60 days, and cumulatively, I had over 1 million views in 30 days, in 60 days.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Like that's crazy. You
I
can't
was
get
one of
them.
them.
You can't. You can't get 1 million eyes on you for free doing
It's
anything
weird how
else.
reels
You
work. You'll
know.
get 1 million views, but you won't like get that much traffic drawn towards your actual like platform or
Yeah.
business. It's weird. I guess it
For
takes that consistency.
for me on TikTok, like my views on TikTok really resulted in nothing substantial. But on Instagram, my reels on Instagram, I mean, I don't have a very small account, but when I first started posting reels, I had maybe 300 followers. I almost doubled. Like I'm thinking about like 550, and it's almost all from just reels. You know what I mean? So I've seen a lot
Yeah,
more
that's how
positive
I found out
feedback
about you, man.
from
Was from
Instagram.
David.
But
Is the
yeah.
Lasting Legacy podcast? I saw it. I was like, it was a short reel, bro. I was like, that's what got my attention that quick. I went to the page, started looking at more reels and more content from you guys. I was like, all right, cool. I personally, I like the style David's doing with it. I like the intro. That intro's sick, bro. I like the guests you guys were having on. I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing because that's something I'm trying to do myself, but in a different style. I have a
Yeah.
different style towards it, just as Street Champs does. My style is I actually want to interview more first, well, not more, but I want to my audience. I guess you can say audience is like first responders and entrepreneurs. But really, I just want to branch out and interview a variety of different guests. It doesn't necessarily have to be those two, but I've been kind of focusing more on those two. And I like the guests that you guys bring on because it's like kind of mainly entrepreneurs and people who are
Yeah.
like established. And again, the style that you guys bring to the podcast is really eye catching. It's engaging, you know?
Cool, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. It was nice to
Of
hear
course.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of fun doing it. So it's like, I want to do it again. We need to get back on it. It's just, times or
Yeah.
times or times, you know. So, but yeah, it's like it was so cool to talk to all those people. You know what I mean? And like I think pretty much everyone we had on there was an entrepreneur.
In some way, shape, or form. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool. So I was gonna ask something. Yeah, how are you different from other accounting firms in Pueblo? How are you different from other mom and pop places? Like, what makes you Brad Doss, and what makes you the best in your way?
So I would say there's two things that I think really set my firm apart from other firms. One of them is the fact that we're doing tax planning for people. We're like proactively trying to save you money on your tax bill. We're not just doing your bookkeeping and then filing your taxes and saying this is how much you owe. We're doing your bookkeeping. We're sitting down with you. We're reviewing what your numbers are. We're telling you you need to do this, this, and this to lower your tax bill. Or, we're talking to you about your financial goals. You want to buy a house, so we need to show more income this year and this year, etc. So we're doing like true proactive tax planning with our clients. And then secondly is we're like, I don't know about other firms, but I feel like we're one of the only firms, if not the only firm, that can be fully remote in the city of Pueblo. So you never have to come to my office. We do, you're more than welcome to, but, sorry, excuse me. But we do Zoom calls, phone calls for new client meetings. All of your tax work is electronically signed and reviewed. I have a client portal that has NASA level security. You can upload any document in there, W-2, social security numbers, bank account numbers, everything in that client portal secure. So all the documents that you need to send to us, you have through a client portal. In that client portal, you can access all of your documents. You can access all of your previous tax returns. So we really are, like, my ultimate goal is to truly pivot to being like a remote accounting firm. I want to be able to help people in all 50 states no matter what. So I think those two things are something that not any other accounting firm that I've seen in this town do. It's just proactive, save money, and make it easy.
Okay.
Bam.
Fuck. I know. Perfect. I know. I gotta use these more often. That's a little joke. I like that.
There we go. That one was
That
good.
one was good, wasn't
That was
it?
a good one. Yeah.
No.
That's not it. I don't know
killed
what that
it.
one was.
I don't know what that one was either.
Should have stopped when you were ahead.
I know. I should have just kept the momentum right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I have more I want to talk about. I get sauce, and I'm just like, fuck. I don't have a fruit. I don't have a brain of a chipmunk. Probably. I won't put that out there, but maybe people are gonna give me shit for like, you're just forgetting your shit. You get too sauce, like, limit yourself, or just shush.
Just gotta flow with it.
Flow with it. Flow
Honestly.
like water. Okay, you know what? Let's bring it back. Let's just take a step back, on the wheel, and just go back to Brad Doss's life growing up and kind of how it ties into where you're at now. So tell me about your upbringing and how you got to where you are today. What kind of pushed you in this direction, and what steps you took?
Geez, I don't know. That's
Good save.
awfully special question. I would say, like, growing up, I think my grandpa was a really big factor in my life. He pretty much lived with, not pretty much, he did live with me and my mom and my brother full time growing up. But he really taught me, like, how to just be kind and care for people. And he also taught me how to work really hard. My dad has crazy good work ethic. I mean, he's been working at the steel mill for 30 years. That's like the shittiest job ever. But, he has to, especially when we were younger, like, he had to work that job to provide for us. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot from those two. Growing up, I mean, like, we weren't like super poor, but we just had typical family money struggles, you know what I mean? And so growing up, seeing that too, I think that definitely kind of pushed me to just learn more about finances and kind of be more, try to be a little bit better with the money growing up. And So I think that kind of progressed into like my interest in accounting and money and finance and stuff like that. So I would say that those are some pretty big factors that led me to basically becoming an accountant, you know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the three things that come to my head right off the top. So
What does your family think about your lifestyle and your business? As because you grew up, struggling, and now you're not. They're probably like, "Oh, Hito's all grown up and making money now, wearing the watch, has his own business." But reality of it, you're
yeah, I
struggling
mean,
too.
I don't know, and not just family, but family, friends, everyone. It's like it's kind of like a weird path. Like when you start your own business, a lot of people like just refuse to take you seriously and kind of like think you're a joke or it's lazy or something, you know what I mean? But then you get to a point and it's like they skip over, and I'm not saying my family does this. This is more for like acquaintances, I guess you can say, but they kind of skip over the point of like, oh wow, he's working hard and doing it, and then they go from like thinking you're lazy because you don't have a real job to just being jealous, like super jealous, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it must be nice, must be nice. I hate that saying. If I hear someone say it must be nice, like I physically get angry. I'm like, I always say it is nice, you know? Yeah, it is nice to do this, but it's like it's not like it was just handed to you, you know what I mean? So
I do.
I mean, I guess from like friends and acquaintances and stuff like that, it was, I guess, rocky at best. But I mean, my family's always supported me in doing this. I kind of have been like driven, you know. Throughout college, I was fixing cell phones. So I was flipping cell phones on the side to pay for my college tuition. So I kind of have always had that side into me.
You
So
were
it
really doing that,
kind of meshed.
bro.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy.
Fire.
I broke my phone and I was too poor to fix it. So I was like, well, let's see what the internet can teach me. So the internet showed me how to fix an iPhone 3GS screen. I was like, damn, this is super easy. And the parts are like $10. I can do this for other people. So I slowly started fixing phones for other people. And then I soon realized like I can just buy broken phones and fix them myself and then sell them. So I was on Craigslist all day long buying broken phones or cheap phones and then fixing them and then putting them on eBay. Like there's times where I'd buy phones on Craigslist and then just literally buy them on Craigslist and post them on eBay the next day and could make like 20, $30 a phone, you know? So I was flipping phones. Like I was making just as much money selling cell phones as I was working at Walmart at the time. So it was pretty cool. But
That's sweet.
But yeah, I mean, my family they've always been pretty supportive of my career, my business decisions and stuff like that. So I can't say anything bad about them on that. That's for sure.
I remember that question. So how much do you charge as far as like a little, like, I guess I don't want to say diagnostic, but when you come in and you're wondering like, hey, like a little rundown, little demo, I guess you can call
For
it,
sure.
and like actual like, all right, here's my price for this, this, and this. After we kind of talked about what we're doing, dive in about that.
So for my monthly clients, I don't do just sales tax or just payroll for anyone anymore. So if you're a monthly client, you have to do bookkeeping, and then we can do sales tax and payroll. The bookkeeping, every client's a little different just because every client has different numbers of bank accounts, transactions, and stuff like that. So I'll say that it starts at $250 a month, and the highest I have, I think, is like $650 a month. So majority of my clients fall between $250 to $350 per month for bookkeeping, payroll, sales tax services.
And those are all like mostly business owners.
All of them. That's
All of
all for
them?
businesses. Yeah.
So what are their revenue looking like? What's that?
I mean, I have businesses that range, I would say, low end, like total income wise, low end is probably 60 grand a year, and then high end is I have a company that's probably going to hit $1 million a year this year.
Okay, sweet.
So it's
what are they
it's
doing?
pretty widely varied.
That company, what are they doing?
It's a restaurant.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good food?
Oh yeah.
Fancy?
Great food. I don't know. Is there
What kind of
anything that's
food?
really fancy in Pueblo? But
I guess downtown.
yeah,
That's kind of
downtown's
like
pretty
what
nice.
I meant. Where's
Yeah.
it at? Where's it located?
It's north side, I guess you would
North
say.
side? What kind of food do they have?
It's very specific food.
Yeah.
But they might be the top ones, and then I also work with a security company that does pretty good numbers.
Nice.
I would say yeah. That's another thing too. Is it's kind of weird. You just never know, you know. I mean, I've worked with barbers that are making over 100 grand a year, and people think that's crazy, but it's like barbering, man. Real estate agents, man. I work with some real estate agents that just kill it, doing $200,000-300,000 of take home pay a year. So yeah, it is pretty crazy. But but yeah, so everyone I work with on a monthly basis owns a business, though. We
That
do
is
bookkeeping
crazy.
and
I
stuff
like
for
that,
them.
dude. Oh yeah. Everybody keep dreaming, keep working, keep
For
working.
sure.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
I
and
like that.
I mean, like an accountant, a good accountant will save you more money than they cost you. You know what I mean? All the people that are paying me $300 a month, like because we're proactively tax planning every single year with them, like we're saving people tens of $1,000s per year, and I'm going home with 3 to 4 of it. You know what I mean? And what I'm charging them, kind of thing. So if you're a business owner and you think your accountant is charging you too much money, then either one, ask them how much money they're saving you, and if they can't answer that, then probably shoot us a message and we'll we'll review it, because the amount of money that we save people is just astronomical. Honestly, it's really crazy. But
How long did you have to go to college for?
I got a 4 year degree, but I went for 5 years.
Did you minor in anything?
I was one class away from a minor in finance.
So was it just mainly accounting
Yeah, the accounting program
at CSU?
is CSU Pueblo. Yeah, the accounting program. It's almost all accounting classes for the last 2 years as far as business goes.
Is it good? Do you recommend it?
I mean, if you're gonna be an accounting major, you need to figure out like what part of accounting you want to work in. Like,
There's a lot of people in the newer generation that don't know what they want to do. I've seen, but they want to do something in business, so they just go for a business degree. But then, like, they're confused and they don't know what they're doing. It's so much school, the deadlines, and it's just they're unhappy with what they're doing. But they know they think they need school, and they're like, all right, well, I want to start a business or do something the business route, and business has been a lot more of a fun topic, in this generation. So multiple people are going to school for business management now. How do you feel about that? Do you think they should take that class, or they should like go and kind of dive and find?
I think business management's like a joke, really. I mean, what are you gonna manage, really? Like, I don't know. I think college is kind of stupid unless you're going to be going to something very specific. I mean, I have so many people I knew that graduate with like biology degrees. It's like, what are you going to do with a biology degree? Like nothing. You're going to have to go get a master's degree. So you better have a plan on getting a master's degree to specialize in something like business management. There's just like communication degrees, stuff like that. It's like, I feel like if you're going to go and spend the money to college, then you need to pick something that's like very specific, like accounting. Like you're going to, you have accountant. There's multiple jobs as an accountant you can do, but at the end of the day, it's just an accountant. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think college is pretty overrated, to be honest with you. Like the program I did, the accounting program at CSU Pueblo, I learned a lot about accounting, but they really groom you to work at like a very large accounting firm or to work at an accounting department for a large company, basically. There's so much stuff I learned on job outside of the school. So,
Why is that? Why do they want you to go work for a larger firm right off the bat?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. That's kind of like the college. I don't know.
Scheme.
How can you really teach entrepreneurship? I mean, entrepreneurship is just so much trial and error. I mean, it's hard to teach it in a classroom.
It is.
You can't teach someone to just trust their gut instinct and hire this dude, or you can't teach them to, run this marketing advertisement scheme or something like that. I think it's really hard to teach. Accounting is teachable. Like it's a practice. It's a mathematic skill to learn. You know what I mean? So it can be applied in different ways. I mean, I think schooling is made for people to go get jobs. like with other people, I guess. So I'm assuming maybe that's why they kind of structure it the way they do, I guess. But there was, for my day-to-day job, there was so much I learned in college that I'd never really use, just because like the accounting that I learned was for like a Walmart that has like billions of dollars of inventory. It's like none of my clients have millions of dollars of inventory, let alone billions of dollars of inventory. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a good starting ground, good foundation, but I would say be careful with what your major is and be careful how much you're paying for that college degree too, because a lot of times it's terrible return on investment.
What kind of loopholes are you familiar with as far as in the accounting world that you can kind of manipulate or use?
Well, I mean, one of the big things is just knowing what you can and can't deduct. So many people don't even know the basics of that. So that's one big thing to work to like really make sure your clients are doing is like, are you tracking mileage? So many people don't track mileage, and mileage is a very big write-off for a lot
On
of people.
cars? Really?
Like for business cars and stuff like that, you know, like I mean, honestly, even coming here for me, like this is a business trip, you know, like I'm promoting my business on this platform. So like my mileage here is a business deduction.
Are you gonna track that?
Yeah, yeah, I have an app on my phone tracks every single drive. So, I mean, when it comes to like working with people and like reducing tax liabilities and finding the loopholes that you're talking about, we always start with like the most basic stuff. Let's make sure we're taking care of all of the stuff that you might be missing. Home office is another like one that people don't understand. It's like if you're working from home, you can take a portion of your rent, your utilities, your your repair and maintenance on the house, and you can write a part of that off on your business return. So like I have an office at my house, but it's not my main office. But had you had a main office at your house and your water heater breaks, you can write off a portion of your water heater on your business tax bill. Another big one is you kind of also, this is not like tax advice for everybody. It's all very specific, you know, but there's something called the I can't think of it, the Augusta rule. And you can rent your house out. If you own your house, you can rent your house out for 14 days a year, and you don't have to claim that income on your return. So what we do is if you own an S corporation, that company, your company, rents your house from you 14 days a year and holds business meetings. And so what happens is you personally get that rental income tax free, and then the business writes it off as an expense. Putting kids on payroll. We have people, your kid can make almost $13,000 a year without paying any income taxes. And a lot of times it's pretty easy to have your kid working in the business to justify making money. You know what I mean? So like doing some tax shift, some income shifting by doing stuff like that. I would say those are kind of like some of the
Top ones.
the best ways to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Company structure too. That's another thing that's overlooked. Is like how your company's structured. There's different entities and they all can be taxed differently too. So talking with someone who knows like company structures and how that affects your tax bill is huge too, that people overlook.
You mentioned the renting out your place for that. So if I wanted to just like kind of go on a little limb and be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna quit my job and decide to buy a property. For one, how much would it be to buy a property? Get that financing. Where to get that financing? I don't have the best financing. Two, I mean, realistically, it'd have to take time, obviously, but if I had enough money, buy that property, rent it out as an Airbnb, and then kind of go with it that way. If it was consistent, if it was in a good location, or like even just like in general, Airbnbs are getting pretty popular. How would I go about writing the tax documents and all the financials really, and how would I go about like financing that if you don't have good credit, or if you do?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're talking rental property, if you go and you're getting a mortgage on that rental property and it's exclusively as a rental property, a lot of times they're going to require 20% down, on the financing, so you have a pretty fat down payment. I mean, if you're getting a $200,000 rental property, you have to have 40 grand in cash just for the down payment. When it comes to like the tax side of rental properties, rental income is not considered earned income, so it's taxed at a lower rate, which is nice. And you can depreciate obviously all the or you can expense all of your repair, maintenance, and expenses, utilities, property taxes on that property to bring down your taxable income, and then you depreciate the building. So the one thing that sucks with rental properties is you depreciate the building over 27 and a half years. So that $200,000 you paid to put down, it takes 27 and a half years to actually write that $200,000 off. Now, if you have bad credit, or if you have, I mean, even if you have good credit and no cash, like it's hard to get a rental property because, like I said, you need, a lot of times 10 to 20% down. So, if you have bad credit, well, it's probably hard to get anything with a house with bad credit, but the way that people do it is house hacking. It's like you buy a duplex or a triplex or something like that. I think you could buy something that has 4 dwellings essentially, and it can still be considered your home. But you buy a duplex and you live on one side for 2 years and you rent the other side out. That way you only have to do your 3.5% down. A lot of times you can have a lower credit score to get approved for it, and then you're renting the other half. So while you're living in it for 2 years, I believe you have to live in it for 2 years too. I think. I'm not sure the time frame, but like if you lie on your mortgage and you say I am living in here, and then 2 months later you're not living there, the mortgage company finds out, they can call that note and the full amount's due immediately. So it's like you're playing some games doing that. But if you live there on the other side for 2 years and you rent the other spots out, after 2 years you can move out, it turns into a full rental. You still get half of your deductions while you're splitting it, and then once you move out, it's just a normal ass rental property. But you got into it at 3.5% down, which is like 7 grand versus 40 grand cash down. So that's usually the easiest way to get into rental property now,
Okay,
is
so
buy multifamily properties.
if I don't have good credit and I'm trying to do it though, and I got another lender who's like, all right, I trust you enough to, well, they see the deal and like, all right, I trust you enough to kind of go about this deal, so they're gonna put the 20% down. How does that work if you found the deal and you're gonna go about managing everything, or about kind of like run a little bit of the operation, but you're not financing it, and you have another person who has good credit finance it? Do you have to have a contract for that, or I mean, personally, I mean, I would want to do it like under the books kind of shit, but realistically, tax situations, you're gonna have to do it the legal way. So how does that work?
Well, if someone's financing it, I guess, like, are you just a property manager, or like, what do you mean?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
wanna like make money. I don't know. Okay, I wanna pretty much, yeah, do everything, like run it, flip it. I don't know. Kind of just depends on what I want to do, but I need the money first. So I see what I want. All right, cool. Maybe it needs to be fixed up. Maybe it's already in good
Mm-hmm.
condition and it just needs to be sold. But it's a good property and I want to like invest into it, because I know if I put it on the market and kind of advertise or do my thing, if I don't know, market it a little bit, maybe talk to the homeowners or talk to other local homeowners, sell it potentially. So probably just trying to sell it or market it, or I don't know, something around those lines. But I don't have the money to finance it, but I know it's a good deal and the ROI is going to make me money. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go about the process of kind of, yeah, like I guess managing the property and managing how
Mm-hmm.
how it works. But I have my friend here kind of giving me the cash for the deal.
Yeah. Um, like, it'd be kind of like, if he's funding you the money, and then when he sells it, you're just basically taking a chunk of that. Like, yeah, you should probably have a contract in place so everyone knows how much money each person's getting. You know what I mean? Both of you'd have tax liabilities. What some people do too, there's basically, I can't think of the word, but they're just like they're like middleman brokers almost. They'll find a house, a cheap piece of shit house, and they'll buy it from them for I don't know, say 50 grand, or that they agree to buy this house for 50 grand, then they go find a flipper who agrees to buy it for 70 grand. So they never even put up their own money. They just take a cut of that 50 to 70 grand, you know what I mean? So they're just brokers basically, I guess, like middleman transaction people. So that way the flippers don't have to go out and look for these houses, but they're still getting a good enough deal to where once they flip them and renovate them and flip them, that they'll still make their money too. So I mean, to be like that middleman broker is where like you don't need money up front most of the times.
Okay.
But I mean, there's like some hard cash lenders and stuff like that too. But I don't know. I feel like if you go to like a hard cash lender, which is basically just some rich dude who's willing to give you money on like a high interest risky investment, that's an option. But I feel like most of the times they're not going to give anyone money. I feel like they want to see like someone who has a high net worth, I'd assume.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
sure.
Maybe people are crazy.
Yeah.
Just say here's 40
I mean,
grand.
I feel if you have like the deal in place and you have like the specifics behind it,
Yeah.
and you just kind of like have a plan, really, and you bring it to them, and you feel confident about the plan, I feel like the money will come.
Yeah, I mean, if you have like it's not really like a pocket listing, but like of a house that's a good deal. If you get to it before it's before it's on the market, there's a lot of ways to make good money doing that too.
So if I wanted to go about starting my own business with this, but I want to have like different investments, could I do it under the ambitious writers account, or how would I have to go about that?
You can, but it's probably not the best because every tax return, every EIN number, and every tax return has a business code on it. So, like all accounting firms on their tax return have the same business code, and that's how they find people to audit with outlying numbers. So if you have one business that's doing like 10 different things, you're gonna still have one business code, and so your numbers might be a little goofy for that industry, and it can trigger an audit. So a lot of times, it's better to have separate entities for each business. That way, when you file it now, you can get really complicated, and you can have like one big company that owns multiple other companies. But each of those other companies still have their own EIN number and everything like that. But honestly, I mean, from my experience, it's honestly just easier to not even have that big company there. Like that big company there is like when you're making tens of 20s of 30s of millions of dollars, maybe something like that. That makes more sense. But yeah, you definitely want to keep it separate. Now, if you have something that's very similar, like two different businesses, but they're like very similar, like you have like I don't know, a landscaping company that does snow plowing or something, like those are probably fine to combine into one company, you know what I mean? But two polar opposite things, best to keep them separate for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, in the future, I'm going to talk with you about further tax information and just kind of like going about getting my finances in check, because I got to get those in check ASAP soon if I want to grow really in the future.
Yeah, you're way ahead of the game. Most 20-year-olds don't care, so you're doing pretty good. Yeah,
that's awesome. Where do you see yourself? What kind of goals do you have for Brad Doss Financial?
As far as the company goes, I do want to hopefully have, I would probably say 5 to 8 man or woman team in the near future, maybe 3 to 5 years. I want to be 100% remote based firm, and I would like to get clients in, I don't know an exact number, but definitely clients throughout the country. I want to start kind of expanding that way. That's kind of the business, the main business goals, I would say, is to kind of just keep expanding and push towards that remote firm. And then personally, I kind of want to move out of Colorado also in the next 3 to 5 years. So they kind of go hand in hand, because I have remote clients, then I can move wherever I want, which gives me more freedom, which is one of the reasons why I want a remote firm too, because your clients won't really care where you're living if you're a remote firm. So that's pretty much it though, honestly. So
What kind of numbers are you wanting to achieve in the future as far as revenue?
I mean, I'd love to hit 7 figures of total revenue, $1 million.
It's possible.
Yeah,
It
it's
is possible.
it's
Within,
possible with the team for sure. It's I would have to like 7x something, 8x whatever I'm doing now or something like that. But I think it's pretty possible in 3 to 5 years, as long as we continuously are getting new clients locally and remotely. But I think more importantly is like just continuing to grow the team there, because the work starts adding up quick, that's for sure. So I think as long as I focus on taking care of the clients we get and growing my team properly, I think we could definitely hit $1 million, I would say, in 5 years. So my goal is to be a liquid millionaire, like basically $1 million in liquid assets, not counting my house, by the age of 40. So
and what does that mean?
Liquid assets, basically cash and stocks, like investments, anything that is very easy to sell. So essentially anything that has value that's not your home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I would like to be a millionaire, not including any equity in my home, by the age of 40. So I have like 9 years. So
How old are you now?
31. So in order to do that, then yeah, my company's gonna have to generate some more revenue. So,
What kind of people are you trying to look into bringing on? What kind of traits are you looking for as a person?
I want someone that's like really willing to learn and try different stuff.
Do they have to have a degree in what they're
You,
pursuing?
I would say, yeah, I would say it's probably beneficial to bring on people that have at least not necessarily a 4 year degree, but even like an associate's degree in accounting, just something that you get the you have the basics of accounting, so I don't have to go and teach that to them, and I can teach them more of like how we're doing the process, but I don't need to explain like debits and credits to them. So definitely someone that has either experience or even some classroom knowledge of it. And honestly, like I just want someone that like fits the vibe really well. You know what I mean? Like I'm a pretty laid back, chill guy, honestly, and so I don't want to bring someone in that's like really stiff and rigid and just uncomfortable to be around, because at the end of the day, like if I hire someone and they're working in my office and I don't want to go to my office, like that's a problem. So someone that just really fits the personalities that will be in there at the time. I think the eagerness to learn and the ability to be flexible is way more important than like any knowledge, because we can teach you the knowledge, you know what I mean, but I can't teach you how to fit into the culture, I guess, if that
I've
makes
heard
sense.
that multiple times.
Yeah, I think it definitely rings true.
That's cool. We're gonna end it off right here. Is there anything you want to
sure.
leave with the viewers watching?
I don't think so. I mean, if I guess if you're a business owner, don't take your accountant and your taxes for granted. Make sure you stay on top of those things for sure. And I just want to appreciate.
A little bit loud, but
Bam, there we go. And I just want to say I appreciate you for having me on.
thank you.
And yeah, man, I think you being so young, just doing what you want to do is dope, and I appreciate that. And starting at the age of 20, like you're insanely ahead of most people. So just don't stop doing it. Just keep doing it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks for
that,
having me
Brad.
on again. For
That's
sure.
awesome. Yeah, of course. If you want to do episode 2, that'd be awesome. We'll probably have a few more guests. I want to grow and expand this to not only being one, like me interviewing one individual person, but there's like multiple people on a podcast. Like just different specifics. You see what Straight Champs is doing. I like that style, and I like the style of just having multiple people on in one setting, and also interviewing people too, because there's two different attitudes and characters, two vibes to the videos, and I like that. I like that because you just you're able to vibe with it and feel
Yeah,
with it.
most definitely.
So that's real cool. Dude, thank you for being on. That's awesome.
sure.
Episode 5 of the Ambitious Writers podcast. Check it out on Spotify, YouTube. I got a Facebook and Instagram. So if you're not checking those out and following me, you're missing out, because I'm over here posting and putting work into my personal page, and I'm like, come on guys, follow me on the Ambitious Writers, so that way I don't have to put the work into my own page. But I guess it's cool because then I'll have people follow me on my own page and this one. But it's like,
It's all one and the same.
yeah, it's like
Sure.
you gotta drive. I'm driving traffic. That's really what it is. It's like you're kind of navigating the traffic with both pages. I know I'll funnel eventually the traffic towards the Ambitious Writers, but for now I'm gonna have to keep plugging away and working at my own page, because that's how people are gonna see it. You know, if I keep advertising it on my page, eventually the funnel is going to traffic its way towards the Ambitious Writers, and that's what I want. So honestly, I'm learning a lot about the marketing side of it, and social media, and just kind of like running a business, really, just little by little. It's not a full-blown business. I'm not going to like boast or anything like that, but it's just like, it's a little step. It's cool. It's like a little pat on the back for myself. So I like to stay humble about that and think about that as well.
For sure, man. Yeah, I think you're on a good path for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. We're closing out right here, episode 5, The Ambitious Writers. This has been my guest right here, Brad Doss Financial. You can go find him at, again, Brad Doss Financial Accounting on Instagram, and just go check him out. Hit him up for some financial advice. Tax season is right around the corner. This guy's your man right here. Seriously, if you want to save money, there's no other place to go. You can go to all these other local franchise people, but why? Why? You want to go support someone local? Here he is, right here, mom and pop, I guess you can say.
Something,
You got,
something
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
Liberty Mutual, or whatever they want to be called. It's like, listen here, my aunt did my taxes. Anyways, yeah, check him out. Check him out. This is it right here.